Hello, everyone. This is Michaela, and you're listening to the End All the Things podcast. As a life coach and facilitator, I work with individuals and groups to empower their best selves to shine to the betterment of all involved. My goal is always to bring you closer to trusting the voice inside of you that is authentically yours. My job here is no different. In my journey through life, I continue to meet people who use their authenticity, their gifts, to grow, change, and serve through professional and personal endeavors. These people and their stories become my gift to you, for I cannot keep a good thing to myself, and I believe that they may inspire a part of your story to evolve. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Today, I have not one, but two incredibly exciting guests to share with you. The first one may be familiar if you've been following along to the podcast. You may remember Ryan McKinney from episode number 22. But as a refresher, Ryan McKinney is committed to helping success-hungry professionals flourish at work and at home. He draws from a deep well of experiences to illustrate key leadership and performance concepts, making it easy for audiences and clients to absorb and apply lessons learned to their own lives quickly. He believes experiential learning is best, but learning experiences can be borrowed from others. And in his 20 years of leadership experience in financial services, sales and sales leadership, lean manufacturing, and operations planning, Ryan has developed a unique depth to his background that activates audiences and workshop participants wherever he goes. Now, as a certified professional coach, his skills and unique set of experiences, Ryan brings an edge when it comes to creating transformation. He shares this knowledge and drives real, sustainable results with leaders in all walks of life. So that's Ryan. He is bringing to us today someone that I've just very recently met and am very excited about. Her name is Demetra Moore. She is not only a bright light, but an accomplished certified professional coach and dynamic speaker who discovered her passion for empowering others while excelling in the finance industry at a Fortune 500 company. As she realized this was her goal, she began her entrepreneurial journey, leading to the establishment of her coaching firm, More Out of Life, Inc. She has advanced certifications from the Institute for Professional Excellence in Coaching and the prestigious Professional Certified Coach credential from the International Coaching Federation. Demetra has honed her expertise in driving personal and professional growth. She is also a change management certified alumna of Michigan State University, reinforcing her skill set in guiding transformative journeys. Wow. And it goes on. She is chock full of accolades and 3 books that she's written, and again, all that jazz. But she is a bright light that I am grateful to share with you today. Together, we're going to have a conversation about all things coaching and running a coaching business. Now, if you're wondering, is this for me? What do I have to get out of this? I'm not a coach. But truly, whether you're a seasoned coach, an aspiring entrepreneur, or simply someone hungry for knowledge and inspiration, this episode is for you. Together, Demetra, Ryan, and I will bridge the gap between becoming a coach and building a successful business, offering insights, strategies, and encouragement every step of the way. So, without further ado, let's get started. I offer to you Demetra, Ryan, and all the things. All right, friends, we are back today. I have a return visitor, Ryan McKinney, and he is bringing me a beautiful delight today. Not only is he going to share with us a program that I, as a coach, am super stoked about, but he's bringing another beautiful light into my life, and her name is Demetra Moore. So without further ado, Demetra Moore, tell me a little bit about who you are and how we got connected today.
Most definitely. And first, I want to say thank you, of course, for allowing me to be a part of I say the show today. I'm excited to speak to your audience and learn a little bit about them as well. But for me, I originally grew up in Florence, South Carolina. And most people are like, where in the world is Florence? They've never heard of it. But if I
Hmm.
say Myrtle Beach, you know exactly where I'm talking about.
Yes,
Myrtle Beach
ma'am.
was, yes, it was 45 minutes from my mother's doorstep. So
Mm.
I lived there practically all through college. And then I made this big move, and yes, I call it big, being sarcastic. I moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, right after college and lived there for 20 years. And that is where I had the opportunity to meet Ryan, where I had the opportunity to get introduced to coaching and I'll say speaking and facilitation. So that journey was definitely a space where I learned a lot about me
Hmm.
and where I discovered how much I love to impact the lives of other people and to help them empower themselves to live a life that they truly deserve.
I love that. Let's just like take a moment and celebrate because that's what we should all be striving for is to find that thing that fuels us and pushes us and serves in a beautiful way. So thank you for sharing all of that. And I want to rewind for one quick second and just say that is a big move.
Yeah,
Anytime we take a step forward that's different, that's new, that requires that growth moment, that's a big move,
right.
right?
Thank you.
So
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. I want to affirm that because when we look at the things that we do as huge for us, right? It can be more exciting and it takes away some of that, meh, I just moved down the street. Anytime you
Right,
pack
right,
up and
right.
go, anytime you step forward, that's big, right? So, and to me, that's what my audience is looking for. What are those things that they can connect with, that they can find that moment to say, well, she did it.
Mhm.
And on this journey that was probably not easy, right? She found
Right.
herself. Um, and second thing I want to comment is though I live in New Jersey today, I am a Southern girl at heart. I spent 14 years in Wilmington, North Carolina, and I have a lot of family in Charlotte. So I do know where Florence is.
Mhm.
Um,
Awesome.
I'm familiar, but I love that connection because that brings us to you, Ryan. Here you are in Charlotte. I met you through my beautiful family. Um, and now you're bringing me Demetra. So what I know is that you two have had a relationship before. I think she was one of your coaching trainers.
Mhm.
And today you're working together. So Ryan, what I would love, catch me up. It's been maybe 8 months since the last time we recorded. So catch me up.
Yeah. So at the time we recorded last time, Demetra and I were working together on this project that we've got going right now, and it wasn't ready. It wasn't fully formed. It was an idea. It was in that kind of real ambiguous state of, we had some ideas of what we wanted to do, and it had really at that point been a little bit more than a conversation, but not much more than that. But yeah, so I met Demetra when I was going through coach training school at IPEC, great coach training school. And she was one of my trainers. And I'll never forget, she did an exercise with us and kind of did a centering exercise and had us just kind of relax. And I was like, man, that's a way. And I'm studying the trainers as they're doing all their things, right? I'm just kind of watching and learning not only the material they're giving, but like how they're delivering it. And I was like, what a way to connect people with the feeling in the moment and being present and then connect that with what they learn. And, it was such an awesome experience. Well, I
It felt
learned
good
from
just
that.
listening to you talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's like, when you can connect with the emotions that you're having in the moment and you can feel all that and it just kind of, it really brings it to light. And now you don't forget those kind of moments. Well, um, so when I left corporate America and had been coaching for a few years on the side, nights and weekends kind of thing, but when I had left corporate America, I was like, let me reach out to some other people that are popping up on my LinkedIn feed and just see, how they're doing, meet with some other coaches and this and that. And Demetra was everywhere. Like I was seeing her all the time, like on all this different stuff. And I was like, you know what? I need to connect with her. If nothing else, I can see if I can just, work for free, go pass out papers for her, answer questions in some
I
things
will
she's
get
doing.
your coffee. I will.
And so we started talking, and long story short, we both started talking about the experience we've had after leaving corporate and becoming a coach on our own. And, it's a difficult journey for a lot of people. It was difficult for us. There were big challenges. We both spent lots of money, lots of energy, lots of, the old fashioned blood, sweat, and tears kind of thing.
Yep.
Uh, and we talked about how a lot of it was, I wish I would have known this. I wish I'd have known that. I wish I didn't do this. I wish I'd have did this sooner. That was a conversation we were having.
You
And
should have recorded that one.
I know. And I don't remember which one of us said it. I just remember this being the conversation was one of us was like, somebody should do a class. And the other one was like, we should do a class.
Mhm.
And we
I love
started.
that you don't remember who said what,
Yeah. It was
right?
just,
Like,
but that was so
I
crazy
love it.
because when we reconnected and started talking, it was like, I don't know. And maybe I don't want to speak for Demetra, but I feel like she's part of my family. Like I know her and it's just
Yeah.
this familiarity that you get. And we've had this comfortable working relationship as a result. I keep it, something interesting. We put a video promo together for this project we're working on. And it was the first time we'd seen each other in person in 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, we blame the pandemic for a lot of things. But as a society, but really that was one of the amazing things that comes out of it is we're able to do what we're doing right now and connect with people all over the world and remain connected. So that's pretty cool stuff. But yeah, we did that and we said, yes, let's do this project. And that's where it was born. And it had fits and, spits and futters and however you say that word, whatever it is. But
Well, and I'd like to go to that moment for a moment. My first business was I started an event planning business, and I did it because I was in like 25 weddings. I'm like the girl in that movie. And I was planning the weddings, right? Like I'm managing the stuff, I'm handling the things, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
mhm.
But I was a teacher, right? Like that wasn't my plan. And I did a wedding with a guy, and we became really close through it. And we got done and we cheersed and said, man, we're really good at this. And he said, yeah, we're really good at this. And we both at the same time said, we should do this. And it was that moment of knowing. And I remember feeling it, right?
Mhm.
How did the two of you, and maybe Demetra, you can share if you'd like, and I'd love for
Okay.
both answers, but when we think about the audience, right? Again, we're trying to connect and show them the building blocks or the little happy flags or red flags to follow or to pay attention to. So how did you know that this was the thing, right? You've been contemplating, ruminating up. How did you know?
I think for me, it was that moment when Ryan and I had this, we call it water cooler talk. And we were just kind of sharing all of the
Oh, very
woes
corporate.
and yeah, all of the woes we had and how frustrating it was to be in that space. And at the time, I was a mentor coach for a few coach training programs as well as the ICF. So I'm hearing the woes on a constant basis. And I said, Ryan, this is still happening to students every day. And, he shared something else. I can't remember what it was, but I was like, it's got to be a way around this. It's sad to see people invest their money and then they don't get the result that they're expecting. And it's not because they're not great coaches. It's because being a great coach and being a business owner are two separate things.
Right.
And
you notice the gap.
Right. And in that moment, I don't remember the exact words, but we were like, we should do something about this. And I didn't have any sense of caution because I knew Ryan. And granted, Ryan's still in Charlotte. We lived, Ryan, I'll say, 10, 15 minutes apart. So I had no, I wasn't worried. I just thought, he's a great person. I love his energy. Let's see what happens.
Excellent. So you evaluated, you weighed the risks a little bit. You're like, I know this guy, I got his resume, I've already vetted him. And keeping that, right, and keeping that trust and confidence, you guys block time together. You guys are communicating, building agreements to manage that relationship and keep it healthy. And I really applaud that. And I think that's something, even that little nugget is something that our audience can take away. When you have this vision and you really want to make it work, it has to become a priority, right? Like you have to literally block on your calendar the time and space and make it sacred. And I know as a coach and a creative and, a little intuitive, and I'm not always great at that. I've gotten better at that, but to have someone help build that skill is really important. So is that what I'm hearing, that filling the gap means helping coaches like myself take on the business aspect of it in a way, to your point earlier, that kind of flows and that you can breathe in? Is that right?
Absolutely. And Michaela, in my experience, I've seen some amazing coaches, but that
Oh, yeah.
business piece has been a challenge for so many of them. And it led them to the belief that having a coaching business just doesn't work, or that it has to be hard. And none of those are true. That's just the narrative that you told yourself. And Ryan and I got together and we put this project out there to let you know it doesn't have to be hard, to let you know that there's a community that can help you create a profitable coaching business.
Love it. And so, you asked about my audience. Well, my audience, I have to believe, shows up for all the same reasons I do, because they want to learn and grow, right?
Right.
That's why I host these conversations. So when Ryan and I connected about doing a round 2 of our podcast, and he asked to have you in and told me a little bit about it, I said, oh my gosh. And I started shaking because I'm your target audience. That's me, right? And I hear what you're saying, because I say probably too often, I just want people to line up and let me do my thing. Like, I just, just break, like, open the door, let them come in. And you're right. There is a conversation in my brain, a narrative, to use your word, that says, oh my God, this is so much work. This is so hard. I don't think this is viable. How am I going to get over this? But that takes a lot of vulnerability for me to say that out loud, because aren't I supposed to know what I'm doing? I'm a life coach, for crying out loud. So how do you speak to me, that target audience, and compel me to say those vulnerabilities out loud? Like, how do you get in there?
Yeah, one of the things we were actually talking about this. We do a webinar that kind of explains our coaching business playbook and goes through it with people. And we were talking about this because it's this association that we start to have, right? You leave coach training school and they do a fantastic job at what they're designed to do, create great coaches, right? You feel empowered, you've got these new skills, and you know that the work that you can do will absolutely change the world. Like, it'll change the world. You know it. Like,
100%.
helping people get the clarity, empower them to do the things, guide them along the path. You know that is life-changing work. And you've got all of this kind of build up. And for those of you listening, I'm creating my own little bar chart on the screen right now.
Hands are going up.
Yeah, you got this build up of all this excitement and joy. And what happens is you think, you know what, I'm going to go home and I'm going to put a sign on my front door, and people are going to beat down the front door with fistfuls of money and say, coach me. I can't wait to change my life.
Where are they?
Yeah.
Because my door, it's on the door. Like, so, and being a little exaggerating, of course, but that is the narrative. That's
right.
Well, and then what happens
and how beautiful. Let me pause and say, when we have those visions, right? How beautiful to want to truly, I want to open my door and serve people.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. But the reality is there's something else to it, right? We can't just, hope is a slippery slope, right? So you hang the sign and you hope people show up. So how do you, like, so you're talking to these people, how are you getting to them, right? Demetra, I believe you've coached in a lot of these places. Are you working with the coaching programs?
Yes, I've been working with various coach training programs since 2016. And I've been a mentor coach with the ICF since, I want to say, 2016 as well. So I've seen several programs, several students. And Michaela, the challenges are all the same. And in my opinion, it doesn't have to be that way, because there's a lot of clients out there that we all could work with. I mean, it's enough for everybody, but it's just understanding what it takes to get from being a new, I'll say a new graduate from your program, or maybe you've been out there for a couple of years and you're still wrestling with how to become profitable. The issues are, again, all the same. If we sat down and really iron them out, And Ryan and I, we hope to bridge that gap. We want to see more successful coaches. And I'm not saying everybody has to leave their job. The goal is to feel great about what you're doing and the investments that you've made, and you're still able to impact the lives of so many people. If you
Amen.
just
Say
are
that
able
again.
to, yeah, just open your business and make some profits from it.
And have a plan, right? Because
Yes,
that's so much of it. When we just hang the sign outside and hope, there is no plan.
right.
So, what are some of the issues that are facing the recent graduates or the been there a little bit? What are some of the obstacles that they are facing that you guys help solve or solve? That sounds like you're giving them the answers, but help them solve.
Part of that is the mindset you go into coaching and get trained with is, right, I'm going to go learn how to do this. And you do, and you practice and you get really good at it. And then we expect, I did, we expect that because I've been in corporate America for 20 years, I should be able to run a business, right? It's a
Mhm.
completely different thing. Why wouldn't you take the time to go through a same kind of course, get some learning, do some practice, and then come out the other side? And what we help them with is their marketing. We help them with their sales. We help them with the daily operations of their business. That includes the coaching portion, but it's also the time management portion. It's also the organization of your business and the back end processes and the tools that you use, right? It's all the things that make it work together. It's the management of it, which is different than the doing of it. It's the working on the business piece and being strategic about your next steps and being thoughtful about what part of this journey you're on. And, we mentioned this, and some of the stuff that we're doing is like most of what people are seeing is on Instagram, and they're watching a coach who's been at this for 15 or 20 years or more, who is an absolute expert at the place that they are in the journey. But that's a different place than the new coach coming out of coach training school or the coach who's been at it for a couple of years and is still working to become profitable. It's a different part of the journey. And, we help them acclimate to where they are in the journey and then ultimately learn to speak the message that attracts clients. Because we all know there's this attracting energy and then there's this kind of chasing energy.
Mhm.
And it feels gross and icky to be chasing in the world of business. And it feels amazing to be in service of the people that are your clients and they're coming to you. And we teach the attraction side of that so that people can learn to speak the right message to the right people at the right time, and grow their business for where they are in the journey. The big piece of that is also what are the next steps? How do you know when it's time to take that next step? So they learn all of that in our course. And the reason we put those in there is because that's what we wanted when we started. When we left corporate, it's like, I wish I would have had this. So we
Yeah.
learned through that. And that's what we decided to put in there.
Well, isn't that the best products are solve other people's problems? And
Right.
more often than not, we're trying to solve our own problems, which is the genesis or the creation of the program. So if I'm in this program and I complete the program, how will we know it was a success? Right. And again, I'm digging here because I want to know these things. I want to know what it looks like on the other side of growth and opportunity and big steps, right, Demetra, no matter how large.
Right. Right.
So how will I know this worked?
Well, Ryan, I want to share one thing that
Yeah.
showed up in our first session. One of our clients would talk about her business, and she would always say, "I'm new. I I'm new, and my business is so small right now. My little business." Words like that. I challenged her in session one. If I kept telling you I was new and my business was little, would you want to do business with me? And right there, that was number one where the light switch came on. Is how you see yourself. Because if you see yourself as small and not experienced, then who's going to want to do business with you?
Mm-hmm.
So that was a success for her day one.
Absolutely.
And I mean, she raved about it.
Yeah. We had another person in the class, another student in class. She had been at coaching for a few years, and she's been working in other um, coaching businesses, like bigger coaching businesses. And she was, I won't say struggling, but putting the offer together was her big crowning moment. and being able to say, this is who I serve. This is how I powerfully serve that person. And this is the offer that I've created to help them do that. And it's an irresistible offer. And that's part of the title of what we share in there. But it's something that absolutely serves the client. And it's the it's the logistics, of course, like how many sessions and all the time and how much does it cost and all that kind of stuff. But we begin that in a very unique way about helping them understand the journey that their client is on. What are they trying to accomplish? And how do we like narrow that down for them? When we did that, like her light bulbs came on. She's like, oh my gosh, I would not be where I am now, ready to go with this offer had we not done this. And that was such a powerful moment for me because again, I struggled with that, putting my offer together in a way that was succinct and simple and people could understand and were excited about. So,
It makes me think when we spoke last time, Ryan, on our, I think it was number 22, our podcast. One of the things we talked about was the DIY approach, right? You can DIY. I think we were talking about like your kitchen or bathroom. I remember tiles. And you can do that. And there's a cost to that. There's a gain and a reward to that. But is the risk reward equal, right? Are you getting what you want out of it? So what you're saying is having DIY'd your businesses and moved yourselves through this, you're solving the problem of we're going to give you our expertise and our perspective, because perspective, more often than not, in our busy, noisy world, is not something we come to easily on our own, right? We don't,
Right.
unless you're meditating regularly or managing those thoughts on a different level than the majority of us do, it's hard to see what you can't see. And I have a small coaching business. It's very different from I'm a coach. I'm here to do the thing, right? And showing up in your fullness. But I know for me, I'm a good person. I do nice things. I highlight other people. Who am I to come out and be like, look at me, folks. Look at what I can do, right? But that mindset piece is a huge barrier for a lot of coaches today, right? A lot of us do that. And I know for those listening who aren't coaches, these are not unique to coaching, right? What you two are doing is specific to coaching because that's your specialty right now. But these conversations about, I really want in, I've got the full body, yes, I've got this partner, we're going to do it. But then we try to stay small, right?
Yes.
So this is almost like you've done the work, you are the great thing, and now we're going to help you do the quote hard part. Right. And I love those testimonials, and I'm sure there are dozens of them in existence and yet to come. So here's what I want to know, because I think that collaboration and teamwork is such an important piece to living, right? We talked about Brene Brown, we're hardwired for connection. And we talked about how you two knew in that moment that this was the right thing to do. But what I'd like to do, because I know you can both handle it, I would like for each of you to share what the other brings to the table in a unique and special way. Because working with a coach is one really beautiful, special thing, but working with such a powerful dynamic is a whole nother experience. And I would love to hear how the two of you complement each other. Not that you have to compliment the other, but complement in the yin yang way. So tell me. Who wants to go first? Shall I flip a coin?
You first, Demetra.
Okay. I make jokes to Ryan all the time that I'm the social one. I say, Ryan, I'm the social one and you are the closer. Like I do not have or I'll say I wrestle with the closing piece. I'm the one that wants to go out and meet everybody. I want to make everybody happy. And then there's Ryan who has the structure to close people or to share like narratives. And that is also something that we teach in our course. Well, Ryan teaches it in the course, how to have those discovery calls and how to help people at the end when it comes to closing clients, because one of our students said sales felt icky. Well, with Ryan, it doesn't feel that way. And I've watched him do it over and over. And for me, it felt icky. That just wasn't a piece of my business that I had my arms around, because I do more B2B. So I didn't have to force a close. It was like, okay, you guys want your team to come through coaching, and it was done. So for me, I would say Ryan is amazing at bringing that sales structure piece. He's amazing at bringing in the operations piece. And he shares so many insightful things with me, and some things I was doing harder or taking the long route. And then I had a conversation with him, and I'm like, I didn't think of that. So I would say his perspective, yeah, the way that he manages sales, and I can't say that enough because Ryan worked in sales in his previous corporate career, so he understands how to teach that. And that is, of course, and you probably can relate, Michaela, something that a lot of new coaches and some seasoned coaches wrestle with is selling yourself. Now, for me, I had the mindset piece. I believed I could do it. I just didn't feel comfortable doing it, and I didn't have the verbiage. So once Ryan and I got together and I watched him come up with these things, it was so insightful to me. So, and of course, Ryan has a great spirit, great energy, and I just love being in his company.
No.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. All right, Ryan, you're up next.
Thank you, Demetra. You know, just real quick on that, the sales piece about feeling icky. I was put in that position to feel icky when I was early in my sales career, and I knew there had to be a better way. So I studied a lot of the greats. I learned from a lot of amazing people in books and all kinds of things. I learned from some great people in my career that when it comes down to sales, it is service. And if you can approach it with the mindset and the energy of being in service, of helping your client make a buying decision, and release the outcome. We teach this as coaches, right? Release the outcome. When you release the outcome and you're trying to support them in a buying decision, sales becomes a lot easier. And we talk about how to do that and like some of the ways to structure a conversation and that kind of stuff to do that in there. But now compliments for Demetra. How does she compliment us? She mentioned it earlier, right? She is such an expert on the mindset, and her ear is so tuned in to listening to. Michaela, you have a great talent for that as well, listening for that and just kind of saying, wait a minute, I caught something there. And it may be the way you're framing this in your world that could be holding you back. What do you think about that? She is fantastic at that. She's also a seasoned speaker and facilitator and trainer. So she brings a lot to the table that she doesn't even think about. It's so funny because I didn't even think about that. Like I'll say something to her, I didn't even think of that. But she's like, well, yeah, that's just kind of how we do it. And I'm like, not everybody knows how to do that, Demetra. That's the talent, it's a skill you've got. And it's amazing the way she just effortlessly brings a group together and can facilitate learning along the way. She knows how to think about the learning objectives, what activities we're going to do to get us there. And, it's an awesome thing to be a part of a great team. And I got to tell you, as a coach for a long time by myself, trying to figure this thing out, it can be a lonely profession, right? I mean, you're a solopreneur working for your own business, and it's great having somebody that can complement you in those ways. So it's awesome having Demetra.
Oh, that's great. I love that. And I appreciate how you gave so much of the strategy, right? Like, yeah, we could go at this alone. We could do it ourselves, whether it's, if I'm being coached or I'm coaching, but it's better together.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be a good fit, right?
Right.
And so often we're like, ooh, opportunity's knocking. Let's do it. Let's do it. And I'm guilty of this. I've done it before. And I found myself in a place I'm like, ooh, I don't know if this is right. But it took a while because I was in, right?
Mm-hmm.
It took a while to pull back out of it. But choosing the right partner, whether it's in life or in business or in accountability, is so very important. And what I love is that it's not always the same as you, right? It's not always the same traits, the same thinking, the same acting. It's more often than not different. It's the thing that we want, the thing that we want to learn more of and grow into. And the same is true of our business, right? And whether we're working in a corporate structure or working for ourselves or a small, medium, large business, the relationship we keep with that thing has to fit, right? And I like how you both already knew the answer to those things, which tells me you've already thought about it. And I hope you keep thinking about it, just like in a marriage, right? Let's check in. How are things going? what's working for you, what's not working for you. So as we go through this, I would love to know about coach training. How is it when you're coaching coaches? Do you get a lot of like, I hate to use the word know-it-alls, but sometimes coaches can be a little know-it-all-y, right? Do you see that? And maybe Demetra, this is more for you as you were in the beginning processes of them. And I'm totally projecting here, but oftentimes when we coach adults or teach adults, it's not always received, right? Have you seen
Right.
that, or am I projecting something that's not there?
That is the case a lot of times, especially when I'm working with people who came from maybe being a teacher or being in a place
Correcting.
of power. Yeah, like that, most times it's coming from being in a place of power. Teachers, of course, professors, and just people who are accustomed to telling people what to do.
Yeah.
That
Well, and
is
that's, again, I'm calling myself out, right? I can be a little know-it-all-y, right? And I was the teacher and I was running a big business and I was. So I'm, again, probing for myself here. So carry on.
Yeah, those are typically the types of people that I run into at the beginning. And they're
Mhm.
like, "Oh no, I've always been doing that. I've always done it that way." And I'm like, "Well, that's not the right way." And
Right. You're changing.
initially is sometimes it could be somebody some have gotten defensive, some have just backed off and said, "Wow, I've been doing this wrong for so long, but yet I thought I was coaching people."
Mhm.
So I mean, but at the end, most of them, I'll say 95% of them end up with an open mind, ready to move forward with their coaching business. Very few that I have run into that are like, I'm just stuck here. Because if you're stuck, then of course, you're not going to take on any more of the material anyways, right? To be a great coach. But not, I'll say 95% of them move forward, open mind, and ready to embrace, having their business.
Yeah. And I thank you for that, because I have felt a stigma of, and I kind of alluded to it before, of, well, people have said to me, well, you're a life coach. Shouldn't you just be all like Zen all the time and be able to figure all the things out all the time? And I'm like, no,
Right.
not even close to that. And I say to
Right.
them, I've just gotten better at making that spazzy moment a lot shorter, right?
Right.
And a lot less stressful and a lot more like, oh, that was fun, let's move on. But so often we think we're supposed to, and okay, sometimes I think that I'm supposed to know everything and I'm not supposed
Right.
to need help because I'm the
Mm.
helper, right?
Right.
But it's that, and I've come a long way since then, but I've stepped back from that again, going into that space of vulnerability to say, I don't know, right? So when you guys brought this program into my little world of sphere, I go, oh my gosh. Because if I find something good, I cannot keep it to myself and I want to share. And I've had a lot of coaches on this program because I love the conversation of how do we keep getting better? How do we
Yeah.
keep improving? And to your point, Demetra, you in your particular experience have trained coaches, and you said some amazing coaches.
Mhm.
And just like if we're, in education, we have amazing teachers that are backing out because the system isn't working for them, the structure isn't working for them. And to me, that's a crying shame. And I feel
Right.
the same applies to coaches. I want every human being on the planet to have at least one coach. That's what I want. So I look at that. There's no scarcity. There are plenty of humans who need coaching, right? But if we're not vulnerable and willing to say, I hung my sign, no one's showing up, now I need help, right? We have to get over ourselves. And this is not just true of coaches. Again, let's go ahead and throw the blanket out for everybody. It can be scary moving into a new space, especially if you've been running the things and making the decisions and calling the shots. And it's okay to not know. It's okay to be uncertain. It's okay to say, I have this feeling, I trust it. I'm going to put energy into it. I'm going to weigh my risks and rewards, but I can't do it alone.
Yeah.
I can't do it alone. And I think when we choose to do it together in this way, you've just expanded and complemented it, subsequently making it stronger and better. And Ryan, gosh, I'm remembering everything now. We talked about asking for help and your dad and how asking for help is a service,
Mhm.
right? Like you're giving other people a gift. Hey, hey there, amazing listeners of And All the Things. Thank you for being on this journey with me. The fact that you're still here, I have to assume this podcast has sparked your curiosity, encouraging you to think of life beyond your current boundaries. Now it's time to take that energy and channel it into a transformative journey where boundless joy awaits. Introducing The Course for Joy, brought to you by Joy Enterprises and me, Michaela, your Joy Coach. Life gets busy, I get it, but self-care matters and should not take a back seat. That is why we've crafted a 4-week self-guided adventure to seamlessly fit into your routine. In just 15 minutes, a few times each week, our enlightening video lessons and engaging workbooks will guide you through self-discovery and bring you closer to growth. As a special bonus, when you enroll in the Course for Joy, you'll receive an exclusive 50-minute live coaching session. We'll celebrate your progress and create a roadmap for your journey ahead. Are you ready to paint your life with vibrant joy and purpose? Visit myjoycoach.com/course to learn more about the transformative Course for Joy. Let's amplify your joy and ignite your purpose together. Stay tuned for more inspiration and insights right here on And All the Things. But I love this because it's bridging the gap. So I would say to our audience, what gaps do you see in your life? Where are you? Do you have your sign on the door for whatever it is, whether it's coaching or starting a trucking business or whatever it is people are finding passion in? Where is the gap? And I'm suggesting today that we not DIY it, that we not, unless you have time, go ahead and DIY it, weigh the risk. So all this to say, I got excited about your program because, like you, Demetra, I already knew Ryan. I trusted Ryan. His integrity is spot on. And I said, wow, this is really great. This speaks to me. This speaks to my audience. So I'm really happy that you took the time today to join me in this. So before we close, though, I would love to know a couple of things about each of you. You mentioned something earlier, Demetra. Oh, I wish I had known this when. If you could go back today to your 18-year-old selves, short of changing the outcome, right? You're going to be in this seat doing this thing today. What advice would you give yourselves at 18 to make it easier, flowier, smoother? What would you say?
Wow. I think for me, mine would be that I have the ability to change the narrative. I don't have to believe what society says or, whomever that is in my sphere of influence. I don't have to take on that narrative. And that would eliminate peer pressure. That would eliminate so many things, the impact of social media. So that would be my big one. Just I control my own narrative.
God, that's important.
Yeah. And something
so
similar
important.
would be get to know who you really are. Get to know yourself and who you really are, and then live that person every day, no matter what. I didn't do that for so long. I lived in so many people, lived out their stories, and I lived it full out. Wondered why I was tired all the time, right?
And I'm sure you did a great job.
Oh,
right?
excellent, right? Like Gay Hendricks
awesome.
talks about the zone of excellence. Yeah, I was killing it. Like people wanted me to do more of the thing that was killing me. Yeah, so it was awesome.
You were
But
killing it, and it was killing you.
yeah. But when I figured out who I was, and quite honestly, it was when I hired a coach, and when I got coached, I was like, okay, I can learn. I got it. I know who I am now. And it was like opening that chapter of my life was learning who I was. And then it was like, well, this isn't going to be easy. And I was like, well, kind of what is going to be easy? Like, what's worth having that's easy, right? And so I
You gotta
recognized,
choose your hard. You choose the hard that's killing you,
yeah,
or you choose the hard that's a little scarier because you
yeah.
don't know.
And it's that comfort zone, stepping into it. It's, stepping out of the comfort zone into the uncomfort zone. That's the growth zone, right? So I've been challenging myself to grow ever since. And I wish I'd have done that at 20. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I asked that question because, no regrets, right? We're not going back and, kicking the dirt and saying, shucks, I should have. But to say out loud the thing that you might need to hear now, right? To say out loud the thing that our listeners might need to hear now, because whether you are 18 or 38, you can change the narrative. And that story that we tell ourselves, I love how they tie together.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan creates the authenticity and the vision we have of ourselves. And if that vision is off, right? And I checked all the boxes, friends. I did all the things and I'm miserable,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's no gain there. So I love we change the narrative, we change the story we believe about ourselves, and then we change ourselves. And I think as coaches, that is a universal kind of drumbeat that we keep, right? But I would love to know what you both wanted to be when you were kids. Let's go
Ah,
even further back, right? So we talked about 18, maybe when you were 5. Think fireman, astronaut, whatever. What did you guys want to be?
for me, I wanted to be, and of course, I didn't know the name of it. I wanted to be, I said, a mind doctor because watching TV, I'd seen people, go to the doctor for their mind, quote unquote, at that time.
You knew
And
that when you were a
ironically,
kid?
Michaela, that's where I started in undergrad. I wanted to be a psychologist. And I took a lot of psych classes, and I wasn't a fan of Freud. So I did
A
move
little
forward with
staunchy.
that. But I as a kid, I called it a mind doctor. I didn't know what it was, but
So cool.
yeah, I started out in psychology.
Hmm. Interesting. Well, or go ahead. Let me let Ryan answer and I'll tell you why I like this question.
I wanted to be a doctor. That all ended when they asked us to cut open earthworms in the ninth grade, and I was like, nope, not anymore. I'm done. Don't want to
Not
cut
my
stuff open. Not doing that.
what was it do you think about doctoring that was so compelling?
I think it was helping people. I mean, yeah. I think it was just being able to help people when they don't have when they don't feel like they want to feel, helping people. I think that was what drove me to it.
Well,
Yeah,
and when you're a kid, where do you go when you're not feeling good? You go
go
to
to
the
the
doctor,
doctor.
right? Doctors heal, they fix. And I love this question because I almost always find that there is a part of what that person wanted living out in today's world or hiding in
Mm.
today's world. You know, for a while, like I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be a pro bono lawyer that like wore pretty clothes and like had clacky heels and like got all the bad guys to go away. Right.
That
I'm
was
not
number
doing
two on my list, by the way.
yeah, right. Well, and it's what I imagine similarly, like I want to advocate for people. I want to speak for people until they can speak for themselves, you know. I
Mhm.
want to help nurture and bring that out. Um, I wanted to be a lot of things, but there was a common thread, and I've been a lot of things, and it all leads to empowering individuals to their greatest selves. So, my gift to our audience today is an opportunity just to listen to 3 coaches go back and forth and vibe with one another and talk about all humanity. But then to say to my friends out there who are thinking of starting a business or have the training, ask for help, seek help, because the work that you choose, the work that you desire to do is important and we need it, right?
Mhm.
So that's where we take it from being a very selfish idea of, well, who am I to, pay this money and do this stuff and ask for this? And well, who are you not to? We're
Right.
here to live fully our gift. And I'm
Mhm.
speaking again to myself, the mirror is reflecting. Um, right. But we need to ask for help. So, Ryan, Demetra, for those of us who are asking for help today to, in this particular case, to help bridge the gap between the talent and creativity and capability they have as a coach into truly being a thriving entrepreneur that creates bigger impact to live out their service. Those are my words, not yours, of course, but go for it. How do we get involved? How can we learn more?
I would say for everyone who's interested, go to coachingbusinessplaybook.com. Everything's spelled normal. Ryan and I didn't get fancy. So it's just coachingbusinessplaybook.com.
Thank you.
And join our wait list. You can get more information. We would love to answer any questions that you have about your coaching business. So I look forward to connecting with each of you soon.
I love it. Thank
Yeah.
you.
And we do, just for the listeners, I don't know when this will air, and that's okay if it's already started. That wait list is important because there will be some emails that come out with some early bird specials on them. So definitely go there and check that out because it's got lots of the good information that you're looking for.
I love it. Well, if that hasn't compelled our listeners quite yet to go at least check it out, absolutely follow all of us on Instagram. Go to those places, get the little reminders daily that there are things that you can do. There are people out there who are willing to help. And I truly mean it. I want every human on this planet to have a coach or equivalent or two. Go for the gamut, right?
Yeah.
Because we are worth it. And we live in a world that constantly, directly and indirectly, tells us to stay small. And even as I work through those things, the gift of helping other people come into their fullness is unparalleled. So I thank you both for the work that you have both been willing to do to help people like me and my peers and all of our listeners to grow beyond and bring their gifts to life, because that's what we're here for. So as we close today, I very gratefully want to thank you both from the bottom of my heart. This has been a really wonderful conversation. And to our listeners, please go check them out. I cannot keep a good thing to myself. So I really want you to see what's available to you. And if this isn't your thing, if you're going into a different kind of practice, there are people who can help you. So just ask. We're here to help. So anything you two want to close with today, or any parting thoughts?
I just want to tell you, thank you for having us on the show and being able to share what we're doing. It's such an exciting thing for us. And even though it's a project that we're working on, and we both still have our own leadership training and coaching businesses outside of coaching coaches on business, but being able to come here and share that with your audience is just exciting. So we really appreciate it.
I feel the same. I feel the same. And
Thank
Demetra,
you.
what a treat to meet you.
Same
Hopefully we'll
here.
be able to connect in person one day. I'll have to get down to the Charlotte area and we'll have to connect. But until then, I appreciate everyone for showing up today, and wherever you're off to, I hope you make it a great day. Thanks so much. And that's a wrap on another episode of And All the Things. If you enjoyed today's show, please like and follow on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. If you really liked it, please go ahead and rate it. Then think about who in your life might also need to hear it and any of the other episodes we have shared. Then share it with them. When you find something meaningful, something valuable, you've got to share it and pay it forward to those you care for. Thanks for joining us, and follow along on Instagram at MyJoyCoach to see more of me, your host, Michaela Burdyshaw. And as always, make it a great day.